This is the whole irony of ego, as opposed to that first paradigm as I was discussing earlier. You see, the ego is this paradigm. It's like this ball, and it just wants to suck everything inside of it, and it just wants to just be everything, you know. But sort of often the ego needs sort of the approval of other people, ironically. And ironically, to a certain degree, it doesn't. You know, there are some people that are just, you know, I hate to say this, forgive me, but who are just cold-hearted and nothing affects them, you know. But oftentimes, you know, people who are, you know, in positions of power, or people who are celebrities, they really do care about the way that people think about them, because that's sort of what drives their ego. I mean, are you really that great if you sit and look in the mirror at yourself all day, or are you that great if you go outside and strutting down the, you know, the sidewalk, and everyone's looking at you and checking you out, and the guys are hollering at you? Which way is going to make the average person, the average consciousness walking around on this planet think? I mean, it would be the one where they're walking on the street getting that attention. I mean, at least in our Western culture, I feel that the image is very important for us, especially women, especially African American, not African American, women of color. We have this sort of beauty complex that's really deep, and I feel like as we raise our consciousness, it's sort of really important for us to break through these barriers that of the past that have been holding us down. I think I'll do an episode on race. I think it's important to talk about that one. But back to the ego. Being balanced within yourself is the most freeing experience, because you are consciously free to do whatever you want. And I mean, I don't want to say being free from ego, because are we ever completely free, you know? Because I feel like ego also is the sort of representative of the need for protection and self-survival, you know? So it's like you don't want to just be this nice person that's in that first paradigm that's just so loving and connected and out there, and people use you, people take your energy, people are energy vampires. We're going to talk about energy very soon, because we need to understand that people are energy vampires. There are certain people that just draw your energy, and you ever talk to somebody that then after you're talking, it's like a headache or something. It's that energy exchange. You got to be understanding of your energy matrix field. So with the ego, it's important, because we don't want people to use us, you know, we don't want people to take us for granted. We do want to feel like we're important. We do want that sort of self-confident aspect of the ego. So I feel like you take that ego and, you know, display the sort of positive, as I would say, in my paradigm, aspects of the ego, which is the self-confidence, loving yourself, essentially. That's extremely important. You have to love yourself. Because if you don't love yourself, you have to love yourself, but it's sort of this, it's not just loving yourself, it's like this over-adoration of self to the point, to that's the mere existence of living, really, is to show your greatness and show how great you are. And it's very complicated, and it just makes things more complicated. That's why you have to realize that you are an individual being. You incarnated into this planet alone. You will descend or ascend figuratively as well when you leave. And so sort of the journey between these two releases of DMT is when this sort of mind tripping, I like to say, sort of this ego tripping. That's one of my favorite. That's one of my favorite pieces of art. Ego tripping. Check it out. And it's sort of that balancing aspect of it. So, and how appropriate. My tarot card for this year is the Lovers, which is basically the Gemini card. And no wonder I've been attracting all these Geminis in my life in the past few months. It's really interesting. the sort of Gemini aspect of the twins, and in every multifaceted way experience I've attracted this. So back to ego balancing. When you start to love yourself, when you start to feel self-confident for yourself, when you start to have that passion and that motivation and that drive and sort of desire to experience things, the ego is balanced, and you sort of realize that yes, you are connected, as that first paradigm. You are connected to everything that exists. You are living out there. You're sort of blending these aspects of yourself together. You're molding this, encasing it essentially in your human body form, and that's the sort of balance of this energy. The body is just simply a vehicle for this energy. That's it. To exist in the physical reality, we have to have a body, simply. In this physical reality, rather, in this dimension, this time period, in this matrix, essentially. It's simply just designed for experience. That's it. So we're all here for an experience of it all. The ego creates this sort of great challenge to itself, really, to the source almost. It's like the source is almost challenging itself too at the core. I think that's why this whole God-devil thing is very pertinent when we're discussing religion, sort of the good versus evil, because essentially good cannot exist without evil. That's why I would make the argument that ego, cannot not exist. It exists with sort of the collective consciousness that we're already a part of. You just sort of use that ego, use the positivity of the ego to your advantage. So you have to be able to connect to that intuitive state, that state of knowingness, the state that you can connect to with the source. So it's using that state, being balanced, okay, with that sort of ego, utilizing that to your advantage, utilizing that silent power as you move through life effortlessly. Okay, you attract everything you put out. That's the importance of it. I feel like this message was well received for everyone. Thank you, and thank you for checking in. And I would say that the lesson I learned is that with this whole ego thing, it's very important that I not get so caught up